Hello Supercoaches, the teams are in for round 14. I came into today thinking that I would make zero trades whatsoever, but a number of guys are tempting me right now. Wilson Smith is here. How's your team travelling?
Not too bad. I had a decent score on the weekend. I think I got 1347, so not too bad. Moved up about 6k ranks, so pretty good. I'm now finally getting towards the top 20,000, so slowly getting there. But yeah, team's going okay, just slowly cruising.
Yeah, slowly getting through the bye rounds for me up to 13,000, which is not great, but I'm hoping for some big rises over the next couple of weeks. What is your biggest takeaway from the teams today?
Well, it was kind of a weird round because there was lots of little changes, but nothing super crazy. So I've actually got a few things that have caught my eye. First one with Mitch Barnett out, Jackson Ford I think is interesting at the Wars. Yeah. He's 540k. He's done well when he started at prop in the past, so I'm interested in him. I'll just rattle off a few names. Corey Jensen at the Broncos, starting again with Pat Carrigan moving to lock. Averaged 53 when he started last year, so not bad. Sean Mullaney, a cheapie watch option at the Titans, named to start at hooker this week, so yeah, not an option this week, but one to watch. Heath Mason is popular, but Ladu Fine is back for the Tigers on the bench, and then Galvin on the extended bench for the Bulldogs, one to watch as well.
Yeah, interesting. And Jackson Ford, obviously with that chip and the grubber and chase on the weekend, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
Mine is obviously probably the big one, Nathan Lawson. He's the second most popular purchase and the most popular cheapie for this week. Big news is that he's retained his spot there at the Dragons, and Tyrell Sloan has been dropped out of that team. Tui Pelotu's back in, but he still retains his spot. So I think that is great news for Nathan Lawson. Don't get on this week. Wait until next week, though.
Yeah, there's some promising signs from him last week. He looked pretty good. I thought Tyrell Sloan had an all-right game as well, but the fact that Tui Pelotu's back and Lawson is holding a starting spot means his job security is pretty good. But I agree, one to wait another week on.
SuperCoach Plus, $29.95 for the year. You've got a buy planner in there. Lots of buys coming up. Only one team on the buy this week, but you need to be planning for next week, which is the big Origin week. So $29.95 for the year, or you can get a code subscription for $59 for the entire season. You get all sport on there, absolutely everything, plus every SuperCoach article, plus everything else that we do SuperCoach-wise. First game is Knight v the Sea Eagles at the Knights. Ponga is back for them, which is good news. Fletcher Sharp is back to 5'8". Marzu on the extended bench as well. So a popular team for Supercoach.
Yeah, I've got a few Knights, but there's more that I had wanted to get in previous weeks, but couldn't quite get on. I avoided Sharp, but just because I couldn't afford him. Didn't have the best game last week, but back at 5'8", hopefully we can see him back at his best.
Onto the Seagulls, Gerbo's back for them from that concussion. He's had a couple in a row, which is a bit of a worry, but he has been named. Turbo ruled out with a cork as well, so that means that Lehigh Hopper-Wate is the third most popular purchase this week.
Yeah, I really wanted to get Lehigh in last week. I just couldn't quite swing it. But with Turbo out, I think he could be in for another big game. And I didn't think Manly were going to win last week, but they put in a really good performance, even missing a bunch of players. So I think Lehigh could be in for another huge game this week.
On to Storm v Cowboys. So Coates and Grant are back from Origin. Fa'alongo goes to the reserves, which is great news for my draft guy, Grant Anderson. Not that anyone else cares about that, except for draft players who own him. Cameron Munster, though, the 7th most sold player. What are your thoughts there? Because you could, everyone is worried about the players not backing up from Origin, given that it's in Perth and it's going to take a long time for them to get back. I think they will get, basically all Origin players will get rested after that second Origin game. What are your thoughts on selling Munster for someone like Jaden Campbell?
Yeah, especially since they're playing in the second game of the round, so it's early on in the week, so you'd think, really good chance that he doesn't back up, even though he did last week or week before, I can't remember. But I can sort of get around selling him, just given that he is likely to miss a bunch of games over the next few weeks, but I think I'm just going to hold on. until I have to move on, basically.
And you've got Ryan Pappenhausen at Amy Park, which means you definitely have to either VC or captain him this week. Onto the Cowboys. So Robert Darby's the 4th most sold player. Makes sense. He has done his job. Jackson Purdue was a guy that we talked down moving to the halves. Came out and killed it on the weekend.
Yeah, I just took a couple of weeks to get going. Like when he started off the season in the centres, it just took him a few weeks to get going. But then once he did, he was on fire. I wasn't keen on him in the halves. I sold him before he made that move. But he absolutely killed it last week. So he could be, if you've still got him, definitely hold on.
Onto the Dolphins v the Dragons. So Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow is back into that team. JMK is back. Plath is back as well. So lots of guys back in that side. Herbie Farnworth, 7th most popular. He's been really popular for a number of weeks now.
Yeah, someone I've just been wanting to get in all year. I could have done it a few weeks ago, but just opted not to.
Yeah.
I brought in Homale Olakwatu instead, which worked out pretty well. But I should have just gone Herbie.
Yeah, Herbie or Kyle Iro. I wish that I had both of those guys in my team right now. They're the two that I really hope that I had in my side. Onto the Dragons. So Nathan Lawson is the big one. I think that you wait a week. There's no point getting on now.
Yep.
Like, what are your thoughts?
I definitely think he's a wait a week. The only reason I would bring him in early this week is if you absolutely have to downgrade someone to bring in some cash to upgrade elsewhere. Because if he holds on to his spot next week as well, he'll probably be a buy next week. So if you have to do it this week to upgrade elsewhere, I can sort of get around it. But otherwise, I would just wait a week.
Yeah, definitely wait a week on him and King Togia as well. Look, he's a hold for now to get through round 15, but from there you can wait and see.
Yeah.
Onto the Sharks v the Warriors. So at the Sharkies, they do have AFB has been named, which is great news for them and great news for owners. Sione Katoa is back as well into that side, but Kyle Iro, I just mentioned him before, but he's the guy I really want in my team. Base stats are sensational. Attacking stats are good too. Coming up against the Warriors, which is a tough matchup this week.
Yeah, I even though it is a tough matchup because they have been pretty solid defensively, I do think he is a great buy. Like you said, his base stats for a centre are just absolutely rock solid. So I think he ticks all the boxes. And if you want to upgrade to a gun centre wing, he's one of the best options there.
On to the Warriors. Barnett out with an ACL injury, which is a massive blow for the Warriors and for the Blues as well. That does mean that Halasima starts on an edge, so he becomes a real option. Not just for Classic, but if you own him in draft, that's a massive boost.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was playing off the bench last week and his minutes have just been all over the place the last couple of weeks, but backing us to a starting role is really huge for him.
And Metcalf, very popular this week. I feel like he gets 100 one week and then the next week absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So it's a tough own for people who own him.
Oh, absolute rocks and diamonds. He's not a reliable starter every week, but if you start him, he's bound to hit. And I started him last week and it was a hit. So rocks and diamonds, but you've just got to stick with him, I think.
Broncos v the Titans. So Reece Walsh is back for the Broncos, and Carrigan is at lock. So they've dropped Hetherington to the bench. So some big decisions there by the coach, but Supercoach wise, it's pretty bland there. Anyone you want to point out?
No, not really.
I've sold everyone. Shibasaki, Arthurs, they're all gone.
Yeah, same here. I'm kind of just avoiding the Broncos at the moment, which is strange because they've got so many good attacking weapons. It's just that for whatever reason, they're just not firing at the moment. So I think avoid the Broncos.
Yep, they've lost 6 from 7. So it's dire straits there at the Bronx. Titans. Jaden Campbell is a big decision because he was great at fullback. I don't know if it matters if he's at fullback or at halfback because he's been killing it no matter what. And he's like an instinctive type of player who it doesn't matter where he's playing. But still, should he be the most popular purchase among the top 10% of Supercoaches this week?
It's a tough one. I've never really been a Jaden Campbell fan. I've just never been a fan of riding the roller coaster in the past. But looking at these numbers, he's actually not really much of a roller coaster this year. He's pretty consistent. It's by far his most consistent season. And he does have such a high ceiling, so I can sort of get around it. But it's still just in the back of my mind, there's a voice screaming no. So avoid for me.
For me, he's a definite watch for next week, but certainly not this week.
Yeah.
You've got to wait and see. It's a great week to be holding trades this week. On to the Raiders v. the Rabbitohs. So at the Raiders, Corey Horsburgh named at lock, and then you've got Hosking named in his usual spot on the edge, but both are really popular sells. It makes sense to me. You probably have to get rid of them before round 15. But do you move this week? I think it's a great week just to sit back. Their BEs aren't huge. Like, they will still drop cash, likely. But I think you just sit back, wait, relax.
Yeah, I can get around selling this week. My feeling is I'm probably going to hold both of them, but especially Horsburgh, I think there's a decent argument around letting him go now. He has peaked. There's a chance he maybe gets called back into Origin contention after missing out on game 1, given that Queensland got flogged. So for me, I'm going to hold, but I can get around selling either of them this week.
Yeah, I want to sell, but I'm just going to wait and see what's happening there. On to the Rabbitohs. So Cody Walker's back. Jack Whiten is back. Walker at $350,000. So he's at cheapie price. For Cody Walker, who was an absolute superstar of Supercoach for a long time. What are your thoughts there?
I would be avoiding both of them for Classic.
Yep.
I just think there's too many question marks over them. But their ownership in draft is extremely low for both of them. So I think if you need, especially if you need a 5'8" in draft, they're both quality options that are pretty widely available.
Obviously, Keon Kaloa-Matangi, I got him in last week. I'm loving it. The issue is that he's played so well, he could be into that Origin team. That's the main issue with the injuries that they've got at the Blues.
Yeah, I brought him in last week. He was my locked-in trade of the week, and I was really happy with it. But yeah, like you said, the fact that Mitch Barnett out for the season now, and he's just been killing it, and he does have, he's an edge player, but also covers that middle really, really well. I think there is a chance he gets called up into Origin camp, and the fact that it is in Perth, if he's named at 18th or 19th man, like, he won't be released from camp early to come back to play. So it's there's a few red flags. So I mean, if you brought him in last week or the week before, you're cheering, but there's a few red flags this week. Yeah,
I'm a happy owner, but would I go out of my way to do it this week? I'm not sure. Tigers v the Panthers. So Heath Mason, very popular, but as you mentioned, Fainu is back onto the bench, so it's not going to last long. Great score on the weekend, but I don't see this as a great cheapie option when you've got Lawson floating around.
Yeah, especially the fact that he's only a fullback in Supercoach Classic. You'd think the next time dual position updates come around, if he's still playing there, he would get the dual, but the fact that he's just 5'8", fullback at the moment, and there's issues around job security, there's just too many question marks for me, so I would be reversing that trade for sure.
Also there, Terrell May, does he make that Origin team with Barnett obviously out with the ACL? Do they go with someone like Terrell May? It doesn't seem like Laurie Daly likes him at all, but it could affect Supercoach big time. Not heaps though. Like, he was always going to miss this coming round, this coming bye round anyway. But then, as we said, it would be tough for him to back up afterwards as well. Yeah,
I mean, we all sort of assumed he was going to be a bolter for round 1, for Origin 1. There's an injury there now. You'd think he's, logically, he'd be one of the next men up. But yet, like you said, he just seems to be not on the radar for whatever reason, which I think is a win for Supercoaches.
Panthers. So, same 17. Tom Jenkins is the 6th most sold player. So, I can get around that. I think he's done his job.
Yeah, I totally agree. I would have moved on a while ago, but the fact that he was back in that team and was doing all right, but now I think it is the time to sell if you've still got him.
What about Cleary? A lot of people are selling Cleary with this news that, he's not going to back up from Origin. They have to travel from Perth to New Zealand, which is, I assume, 2 flights. I'm not even sure.
I would assume
it's a long way, plus you're losing time on the way. There's no way he's going to back up. So, would you sell Cleary? For me, it's a definite hold. I can cover him, but a lot of people are doing it.
Yeah, personally, I think if you were going to sell Cleary during this Origin period, you should have done it weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think that ship has sailed, and I think he's a definite hold through to the end of the Origin period now, if you can cover him.
And then the final game, the Doggies. So Carraz is back for them early. They got a whole bunch of players back. Good buy schedule. They play 15 and 18. So Carraz as a potential purchase. Big BE, so you can wait a week, but a guy to get you through 15 and 18 as well.
Yeah, you'd think that given that he's coming back from injury early, there's a chance that he still has to, go through fitness tests, and it is the last game of the round. So there's a chance he could be ruled out late, and if you're bringing him in, you're kind of stuck with him.
Yeah.
For me, I would be waiting a week until we know that he's back. Given the fact that it's the last game of the round. But if you own him, I would be pretty happy that he's back early ahead of schedule.
The other news there, of course, is that Galvin is on the extended bench, so not in the 7 as we were somewhat expecting. Sexton's still in the 7, but they still have to get through a whole... it's Monday. They got a lot. Yeah. They got almost a week to go until they actually pick their final team. So I think that Galvin will be in the 17 there somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you never really know. He's on the extended bench. He could be a late inclusion. He just got there, though, so maybe they give him a week to sort of learn the systems and then they bring him in. But definitely a wait and see. It could be interesting to see if he can improve their attack, even though they're coming first. So one to watch.
Onto the Eels. So Isaiah Yongi, third most sold player. Makes sense to me. Their buy schedule is not great, so cash in on him. He's done such a good job for Supercoaches. Fullback only, and fullback you need a lot of guns in that position. Yeah,
he's made a ton of cash. Lots of people moved on in the past few weeks. I've held, and the cash has just kept on rolling. But I do agree. I think now is the time to move on if you want to upgrade elsewhere.
And then Sam Rani as well has been named on the bench with Penasini back. So big news for Sam Rani owners. The Roosters have the bye, so that means Robert Toya is the most popular sell. Do you agree with that? I know that Taulagi is still out, so he's still a massive chance to play that in that Origin team.
Yeah, I mean...
But if he misses Origin, then he's going to be great for 15.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah. I think he was decent buy-around coverage before he got picked for Origin, so I don't blame people for holding this long. But I think all signs point to him being a really good sell. He's made a ton of cash, so you can use that to upgrade. So I think he is a sell.
Yeah, he's made over 400k, so he's done a great job for Supercoaches. Billy Smith is a popular sell as well, which makes sense to me. Sandon Smith, I would be holding. Don't be selling him because I think he is the best hooker in Supercoach at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Billy Smith as well, I think he is a sell as well. But again, they're not urgent sells because of the bye this week. And yeah, I would be holding Sandon Smith as well.
Absolutely. So that is it for our team's podcast. Nice and quick and sharp for round 14. We will catch you for the preview podcast tomorrow. Catch you then.